Hey there, welcome to another episode of Three Things Thursday. We took a couple weeks off there, but we're back now and ready to go with another one. As a reminder, each week I will share three things that hopefully enlighten, encourage, and inspire you. In a classic Sesame Street form, each week will be brought to you by a different letter of the alphabet. Today's episode of Three Things Thursday is brought to you by the letter F. Let's get started. Number one, flexibility. Now, there are several great words that can be used to describe the situation that we remain in during this pandemic. But for leaders, I'm not sure that there's a better word than flexibility. And that's not just for leaders. Everyone has had to be flexible, from not being able to eat out, to no sports, to businesses closing and opening and changing, to laws and rules changing almost daily, to wearing masks or not wearing masks, and so on. Flexibility is crucial. And I've known leaders that were not very flexible and simply were not willing to change. And things don't usually end up well for those people. You see, a lack of flexibility shows arrogance, selfishness, and a lack of understanding. It's narrow minded thinking, and it rarely leads to ongoing success. And to be clear, I'm not talking about values or faith or morals. Look, there are some things in life that you should not be flexible on, that are on our non negotiable list, if you will. I remember sitting down one day years ago making my non negotiable list for things I was looking for in a wife. Um, but the truth is, if I had a really long non negotiable list, the chances of me finding that person who checks off every single characteristic would have been slim to none. Like, we have to be flexible, so there has to be some give and take. As leaders, we face adversity and conflict and opposition all the time. Certainly, right now, that's been the case this year. If we can't be flexible and adapt to that situation at hand, how will we overcome and achieve success? What kind of message are we sending to those we lead? And if we aren't willing to listen to their ideas and thoughts, or if we aren't willing to compromise in some areas to see a different point of view that might just be better than our own. But being flexible will make you more responsive to change. The shifting dynamics of the workplace and most other aspects of life means that you need to adapt and respond to change, and to do so quickly. Resisting this can lead to undue stress and anxiety and fear and failure. But recognizing and embracing flexibility will help you adapt to difficult situations more easily. And it will also help you right the ship, as those monster waves come a lot quicker than those who have had a hard time embracing flexibility. Number two, forgive. Look, life is short. Holding on to grudges, not being willing to move on or let go, punishing people for a mistake or believing that one mistake defines who a person is, it's just a miserable way of living life. Like, people will do you wrong. They'll let you down. They'll hurt you. The truth is, we are broken, sinful, and selfish people as a whole. But there's one thing that will be life changing for you and the relationships in your life that mean the most, and that's forgiveness. We seem to be this culture so set on being a one and done type of system. Look, you said something wrong to offend me, so now we're done. We're no longer friends. You didn't have my back, and I will never talk to you again. Or this is just a selfish lifestyle and one that will make people not want to be around you. Forgiveness is crucial. It's love, it's grace, it's mercy, it's compassion, and it's strength. You see, many people seem to believe that forgiveness is a weakness of some sort, or that it makes you look weak. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. Mahatma Gandhi says, "The weak can never forgive." Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. And I don't just mean the people we love. I mean our enemies and the people that we don't even want a relationship with. The people who hurt us. Sometimes the first step is to understand that forgiveness doesn't exonerate the offender. No, we're not trying to give them a free pass or make everything okay simply by that. It's not exonerating them, but it does liberate the victim. Forgiveness is freedom. So when someone hurts you, forgive them. I'll bet you thought that was it, but I'm not quite done yet with this one. So let's get into that hard part of this, which is forgiving yourself. You see, we've all done something or a multitude of things that we just aren't proud of, where we either hurt someone or embarrassed ourselves or did something that had consequences for us and others around us that was difficult for us to live with. And I get it. I've been there. Um, it's much easier to forgive others most of the time than it is ourselves. But playing the game of dwelling on our mistakes, pondering what we could have done better, and feeling guilty can lead to stress, anxiety, and it can corrode our relationships with others. So let me give you 4 steps. All right, you want to plan? Let's give 4 steps to help you forgive yourself, and what we will refer to as the 4 R's. And those 4 R's are responsibility, remorse, restoration, and renewal. So let's start with accepting responsibility, which is often the hardest step, especially if we've been trying to justify our mistake or making excuses for our actions. Second is expressing remorse. Feeling guilty for something is completely normal and it's completely healthy, but sometimes that guilt leads to shame, which is extremely harmful, and it can lead to some serious issues like depression, worthlessness, addiction, and isolation, to name a few. Expressing remorse will help lead us to making positive changes, though. Third is restoration of trust and seeking to repair the damage. If you hurt someone, apologize. Seek to make things right. Don't continue to explain yourself or try to justify it. Just own it and give a sincere apology and effort to restore that relationship or that situation. And lastly, focus on renewal. This doesn't mean just getting over it. That's not easy, I get that. But focusing on what you can learn about yourself from what happened and implementing changes so that you don't repeat the infraction, right? This is about understanding the why and ultimately forgiving yourself while making change for the future. So forgive others, forgive yourself. It's not worth hanging on to the alternative. It never makes anybody better. And number 3, focus. I'll admit, sometimes I'm like the dog from the movie Up, right? The one that's like, squirrel, squirrel. And it's hard to focus, right? It's so easy to get distracted in life. And today we have more distractions than ever. We've got so many different devices, media, multitasking, adversity, and responsibilities. It's easy to get caught up in things that waste our time and don't really help us. The last few years, I have centered myself on making some yearly goals and also having a word or a theme for the year. So it just so happens that my word for this year was actually focus. I wanted to focus on myself in a variety of ways, specifically on physical health, my family, and my career trajectory. Those are my 3 areas of focus. And thankfully, the Lord ordained these steps by providing resources and people in my path to help along the way, including professional development coaches and mentors and a support network around me. But enough about me. How are you showing focus in your life? The best place to start is by understanding what things in your life will keep you from focusing. What distracts you? What makes your future look blurry? Removing distractions and things that take our focus away from what really matters will first show us how little those things really actually mean. And it also frees up time and space and resources to helping us grow, giving us opportunities to impact others. The best leaders have excellent focus. Um, Apple CEO Tim Cook, for example, he says, I learned that focus is key, not just in your running a company, but in your personal life as well. All around, focus is crucial. Focus is so important because it is the gateway to all thinking, perception, memory, learning, reasoning, problem solving, and even decision making. Without good focus, all aspects of your ability to think will suffer. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't have fun or be silly or allow for some creative thinking. Those are incredibly important as well. Certainly, those are important to me. Balance, and we'll probably discuss that in another episode, is essential as well. But even that requires focus to know when to back off the gas pedal a little, when to get rest, things like that. Focus means having a plan, knowing your purpose, knowing your strengths, and how to leverage them well, and knowing where you want to go. I think about rock climbers. When rock climbing, and I'm not a rock climber, just being honest, but I know a lot of people who are, and I've done it before, so got a little bit of experience here. When you're rock climbing, focus is non-negotiable, or else you fall, plain and simple. Focusing on each handhold and ensuring your footing is in place before you take the next step. A lot of people who are climbing rocks or rock walls or mountains, whatever they do, tend to think it's all about arm strength. And don't get me wrong, that's important, but really you have to use your legs. You've got to have a firm foothold before you can move up to that next handhold. So focus is absolutely important. It's not a cavalier ascent. It's calculated. Even people who race up rock climbing for racing, they've calculated their path. They know what holds they're going to get, how they're going to be hanging there, which way they need to go, which way is better for them. And so that path has been studied, it's been memorized, backup plans have been accounted for, training has been accomplished, and there's a clear goal of getting to the top. Without focus, they will either fall, choose the wrong path, or could get stuck in one spot. And that's eventually going to weigh on their arms and legs and make it more difficult to achieve their goal. Likewise, if you put that much focus in reaching your goals, you too can achieve anything. We'll end with this quote from Zig Ziglar. I don't care how much power, brilliance, or energy you have. If you don't harness it and focus it on a specific target and hold it there, you're never going to accomplish as much as your ability warrants. Let us not be people who can't reach our potential and don't reach our goals and don't utilize our ability. Let's be people who focus and go hard after that goal. We can change the world. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Three Things Thursday, brought to you by the letter F. Flexibility, forgive, and focus. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll be back with an all-new letter and a brand new Three Things Thursday next week. Until then, have an awesome day.